I'm not going to lie, I hate sequels, especially when I never had a chance to see the original production. Now that posed a bit of a problem when it came to reviewing Hotline Miami 2, since I never had a chance to play the original Hotline Miami game. I got to watch a couple hours of it on Twitch, and watched a couple YouTube videos on it, but I never got to experience it myself, which is fine because I'm happy that I at least got to play the sequel. The good thing about sequels in video games, or pretty much in general, is that the developers get to see what the player base likes and dislikes about their title. They can adjust the second only to include the good parts and exclude the bad parts. The thing that makes it difficult in this case is the whole thing is the good part. In cases like this, there's only one thing to do, and that is to make it better, which they pretty much did for the most part. It still retains that ultra-violent, retro look and feel and that annoying top-down playstyle, but instead of a series of small rooms, Hotline Miami 2 places you in a massive open space with enemies and dangers everywhere. That's really hard, and I died a lot, which encourages a more strategic approach. Though a challenge is always nice, and I do embrace the change in level sizes, sometimes it can be a bit daunting and even a bit too challenging at times, especially for someone like me who doesn't play a lot of games like this. It's really frustrating to almost entirely clear an area, then be blasted by an enemy with a shotgun out of my line of sight, and have to restart, and cause me a lot of emotional distress. There is one redeeming feature that I will get to later, but first, the artwork is really nice. It's reminiscent of older games, and even with the nature of the game mechanics and soundtrack, make it feel like an older game, which is pretty refreshing for me. I've grown to enjoy that retro style artwork in some games, and I feel the amount of violence and obscenities in the Hotline Miami saga, it just works fine. If this were in Super HD, I'm sure it wouldn't have been received the same way by a lot of people. I'm not going to comment on the music and soundtrack since that really isn't my area of expertise, though I've been meaning to change that. However, I can look at it from a normal consumer's point of view, and that is, it fits. With the rest of the retro look and feel this game was going for, I love that pumped up like electronic type music in the background. I like the sound effects. It was somewhat unique. It all fit together like a puzzle. It was very good. Now back to the level thing. Though the levels were a tad sizey and took a little strategy to maneuver, there is one redeeming feature, and that is an improved lock-on system. When you hit the lock-on button, it lets you lock onto the closest enemy to your cursor. If they're outside of your line of sight, it gives you a red arrow that points to the direction. Though it is a little unfair, it does make clearing most levels a little easier and less frustrating. It seems to have not really taken any of the difficulty away, more or less just accommodates for the scaled up levels and amount of enemies in said levels. I do think the scaled up levels, though a bit annoying at times, is interesting, especially because the game implements the same fast-paced continuous movement through the levels, only with a slightly different approach. The story has expanded a little as well to involve multiple stories, including a war, a serial killer, and even a Russian gang war. It also lets us play as a variety of different characters, one whom, in a shocking twist for Hotline Miami, can get through a level without killing anybody. This variation of characters and storylines allows the game to open us up to a lot of different scenarios that all require a different approach. Even more on this topic, each character is defined by their personal motivations instead of mindless killing. This different, more plot-driven and diverse approach and character-specific goals saves the game from being just another sequel and makes it what a sequel should be, just like the original, but also not too much like the original, but also better, if that makes any sense. This is a great game and is definitely a step up from a lot of sequels. I love its more plot-driven approach and multiple storylines. It's an all-around great game, and I'm sure a lot of fans of the original game will love, or already love depending on when this video comes out. I said that weird. I'd not recommend it for kids unless you're a cool parent. It has lots of violence and other obscenities. Even my mother wouldn't allow me to view until I was at least 11, but it's great for fans of the original and people who like this retro top-down shooty type games. That is it for this video. My name is Anthony from SteamFirst.com. Be sure to check out SteamFirst for all the best news, reviews, videos, and content involving all things Valve and Steam. I am sick this video, so I hope it doesn't sound absolutely awful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.